So welcome everybody to the fourth edition of the Ecological Sustainability Discussion Forum in the industrial region of Haldia. So just a tech briefing for all participants and speakers. The speakers have the admin right of muting or not muting their audio, and the rest of the stakeholders other than the speakers would be kept on mute when for the ease of proceedings to minimize external noise. During the interactive session following the opening session in the stakeholders discussion forum, the admin right to all the stakeholders to mute or not to unmute would be given. So you are requested to keep yourselves on mute when you are not speaking. We are happy that we have all the stakeholders of Haldia industrial region with us. So this program would be formally welcomed by Mr. Shobhit Chakraborty, who is the Senior Vice President of the Bengal Chamber and Deputy Managing Director of Exide Industries Limited. The session would be moderated by Mr. Gautam Ray, Chairperson of Energy and Environment Committee of the Bengal Chamber, who is also the Vice President of the Chamber and Executive Director of CESC Limited and President HR Power Group RPSG. So I would request Mr. Gautam Ray to please start the proceedings of the session.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you, Angona. Good morning to all of you. As Angona has initiated, this is the fourth edition of Ecological Sustainability in Industrial Region. And we are doing it in Haldia because Haldia is now one of the major industrial hub, and as we see, it will develop further. It will become one of the most important industrial center in the country in near future. I do not say that we have crossed the pandemic situation, but definitely we are in a much better place what was there a couple of months back. And this pandemic has given us many lessons, which I am sure that during the deliberation it will come. But the most important thing is managing uncertainty. Managing uncertainty and, of course, aiming towards the sustainability. These are the two key words, what is my lesson from this pandemic situation, what I have gathered. Haldia, as all of us know, with the growth of industry, according to Comprehensive Environmental Pollution Index, way back in 2013, I am speaking of, it exceeded 70 index. But subsequently, a lot of activities have taken place. And today, according to CPCB comprehensive plan, the plan was something has been implemented by the board also. And with the categories what we have, critical, severe and other, it is very, very heartening to note that it has come in the other category, that means below 60. In fact, it is hovering around, as I was reported, as 45. So there has been a marked improvement. Improvement in the sense that we have been able to build up the green belt, infrastructure facility, ease movement of the transport, automatic air quality monitoring, municipal solid waste, sewage system, everything in every aspect. We found that some development improvement has taken place. And not only that, recently we have observed that there are very, very ambitious plans also for the industrial and economic growth of the Haldia, including the LPG port terminal, gas pipeline, expansion of IOC, Exide. So in this background, I find that this discussion today will be very useful, important, and many outcome of this discussion will definitely be forwarded to the concerned authorities. So with this, I request Mr. Shobhit Chakraborty, Senior Vice President, Bengal Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and Deputy Managing Director, Exide Industries, which is one of the most, pivotal industry in the Haldia, not only in Haldia, in fact, in the country. I would request Mr. Shubir Chakraborty to give his welcome address.
Thank you, Mr. Ray, and good morning to everybody. It is very appropriate that this discussion is taking place at Haldia, because it is, in my personal opinion, I think Haldia is going to play a major role, not only in the state industrial map, but also in the national industrial map in the times to come. The Bengal Chamber of Commerce and Industry has a significant focus on sustainability at regional, national, and international levels. The 13th edition of Environment and Energy Conclave, held on 26th and 27th August 2020, was considered by UK government as a run-up event to COP26, which is the United Nations Climate Change Conference to be held in Glasgow in November 2021. The Chamber surely appreciates the need for the industrial development for the economic growth of the country. Industry is viewed as leading sector for economies of scale, applying advanced technology, division of labor, and scientific management. Increased productivity leads to employment generation and capital formation. Historically, it has been identified that there is a close proximity between the industrial development and the level of national and per capita incomes. Without progress of industrial sector, quality goods and services for a higher standard of living cannot be produced. Recent events witnessed closely, like Amphan and locust invasion, have re-established more than ever the need for sustainability and addressing climate change. The need of the hour is to integrate sustainability in the framework of industrial policy. Until recently, concept of sustainable development focused on poverty, protection of natural and environmental resources. However, sustainability today is redefined with wider coverage, including economic and social factors. In fact, inclusive industrial development integrates the notion of comprehensive sustainability. It has been accepted that this would increase efficiency and effectiveness of economic and social policies and could neutralize, through innovations, the trade-off between industrial development and environmental degradation. Industry should concentrate on building capacities to develop new products and processes that cater to green growth. At the Bengal Chamber, we believe it is our mandate to connect with the industrial regions of the state and address issues of synchronization of industrial progress with sustainable development. At the regional level, the imperative of sustainable development often manifests itself in an emphasis on developing green industries. However, regions vary in their preconditions towards achieving this objective. Therefore, I believe involvement of all stakeholders, as we are witnessing today, is extremely important. I'm sure this discussion forum will reveal new directions and innovative approaches towards understanding of the subject. Thank you all and wish you all the best.
Thank you, Mr. Chakraborty. You have rightly mentioned about the role of Bengal Chamber of Commerce and Industry on championing the cause of sustainability. In fact, relentlessly, we have observed for the last more than a decade, BCCI is working for the cause of sustainability, and TERI has been the knowledge partner in this journey. And definitely we will play a very pivotal role in COP26, which is going to be held in Glasgow in November 21. I was speaking about the COVID. In fact, whatever we have done in every industry, every utility, society, family, we have struggled the last more than almost a year how to really be sustainable within this pandemic situation, which was unprecedented and untraveled path. And I would request now Sri Partho Ghosh, Executive Director and Refinery Head of IOCL, to deliver his keynote address, mainly highlighting on rejuvenation from the COVID pandemic, but keeping an eye on the environmental aspects. And what all the innovative ideas, new thoughts, we are very eager to listen to him. Mr. Ghosh, please.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to all of you. It gives me immense pleasure to join this discussion forum on ecological sustainability in this industrial region being organized by the Bengal Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Representing India's energy measure in itself a matter of pride and of great responsibility too. Representing a company that's mainly known for its retail outlets and servo lubricants. Actually, Indian Oil over the decades have evolved from an oil dealing in fossil fuel to an energy measure who is leading the nation in most sustainable form. As my theme today suggests, regeneration from COVID-19 pandemic with environmental priorities, let me utilize this opportunity to share with you our commitment towards reviving economy while balancing environmental priorities, especially during these unprecedented times of COVID-19. I believe the COVID-19 pandemic serves as a good reference point to recalibrate the socio-economic proclamation and, more importantly, our energy strategy. New paradigms of growth and progress will demand sharply outlined distinctions between satiating the need and overzealous human greed. The scourge of COVID-19 swept the world like a gigantic disaster, regardless of national borders, and infected people without any discrimination. Lockdown was one of the immediate measures taken to stop spread of the virus. I take pride in saying that the lockdown did not stop us from performing our duties to serve our customers. IOCians stepped up to give our best and adopted to the new normal during and after the lockdown. We did not buckle under the pressure of prevailing pandemic and continued operation under all circumstances. We only changed the way we do our business. SMS was our mool mantra, that is sanitation, mask, and social distancing. As large part of our globe and our country remained indoors, a key challenge in terms of revitalizing the economy was to ensure that the kitchen fire remains lit. Being India's trusted energy partner, Indian Oil has been moving resolutely to service this mandate. IOCians rose to the challenge like on innumerable other occasions and ensured that our countrymen remain safe and energized during these trying times. Ever since the national lockdown was announced in March 24, 2020, IOCians across working locations such as refineries, pipelines, SBM stations, LPG bottling plants, and bulk storage installations, as well as our larger family comprising dealers and distributors, LPG delivery boys, tank truck queues, mechanics, healthcare fraternity became corona warriors, and they went about their task in the face of adversity, going that extra mile in the line of duty. Meanwhile, IOCians in non-critical administrative offices work from home, providing back-end support to the frontline teams manning the critical locations. Despite huge challenges, the current time has been one of the great opportunity for enrichment, be it our management of the entire situation, adaptability, teamwork, service to society, or our commitment to keep work going amidst all limitations. It has also made us realize the unbounded power of human resilience and manifest itself as perseverance, courage, innovation, and agility to tide over the crisis. Indian Oil, during this phase, galvanized its efforts to present a few of the most innovative solutions to safeguard the countrymen and fellow IOCians from the menace of its deadly pathogen. We immediately developed IOC Clean, a WHO-compliant hand sanitizer for viral protection, immediately as at that time, sanitizers availability was scarce. we in fact offered our sanitizers to the people in Haldia fighting in the front line, like hospitals, police, civic authorities. Today, every entry point in our office building and townships and places around us has touchless sanitizer dispenser refilled with our homemade sanitizers. The true Indian Oil spirit of Pehle Indian Quick Oil determined IOCians took on the challenge of maintaining business continuity and operations and emerged triumphant, channelizing hope to recover and restructure. In line with our commitment towards socio-economic development, CSR played a crucial role in the battle against COVID-19. We have extended our support by providing various medical equipments and COVID management to district hospitals in Purbo Medinipur. Haldia Refinery facilitated 20 number of isolation beds with oxycylinders, stands in the Haldia Development Authority, essential food rations, more than 20,000 masks, 10,000 tarpaulin sheets, etc. at that point of time. Along with CSR, Haldia Refinery has taken several initiatives under our CER programs towards infrastructural development in and around Haldia, like providing 5 number of Shishu alloy under various ICDS center running at Purbo Medinipur. Dedicated isolation ward at Haldia Subdivision Hospital is being built by our initiative so that in future times to come, such pandemic may help some of the patients to take care. Caesarean ward at Basulia Rural Hospital, at Mahishadal, barn ward. We are building a barn ward at Haldia Subdivisional Hospital because this is a need of this region. And I was wondering why this was already not there. So we are trying to build one at Haldia Subdivisional Hospital. We are providing some mobile sweeping machines because this area, I noticed that there's a lot of dust in the air, so that a mobile sweeping machine that will be useful, and we are going to provide one to Haldia municipality. At Indian Oil, we believe that it is possible to fuel the energy needs of the nation while also protecting people and the environment. We are committed to conducting business in a manner that is compatible with the environmental and economic needs of the communities in which we operate, protect the safety and health of our stakeholders. We believe while economic growth of India is very important, it's essential to ensure we take care that our environment for our future generations is safe. Our refineries continuously strive to minimize adverse environmental impact from refinery activities. Products and services by using process practices and materials that avoid and reduce or control pollution. We at Indian Oil are focusing on offering cleaner conventional fuels, renewable energy, operational and safety chain excellence, energy conservation and mitigation of operational greenhouse gas emission. In line with Government of India's vision of sustainable energy future of the nation, Indian Oil is spearheading various green initiatives like development of infrastructure and utilizing natural gas in all refineries, production of BS6 products, biodiesel, ethanol blending in MS petrol, investment in renewable energy sources, sale of compressed biogas through SATAT. SATAT is an initiative by Government of India. It's on sustainable alternative towards affordable transportation. The SATAT scheme is launched for propagation of compressed biogas as green transport fuel to mitigate climate changes and to reduce import burden. As per this scheme, around 5,000 CBG plants shall be installed and annually producing about 15 million metric ton of CBG and 50 million metric ton of organic manure in the country by 2023. Indian Oil also has a strategic intent to scale up its presence in e-mobility by equipping its customer with touch points, with turbocharging and battery swapping facilities for EVs and plug-in hybrids. Indian Oil R&D is foraying into energy storage and battery as a new business avenue. It has also undertaken trials of hydrogen spiked CNG, or HCNG as we call it, derived from on-site compact reformers in bus fleets to reduce tailpipe emission while at the same time enhancing mileage. The center is also working on hydrogen fuel cells for transport applications, where hydrogen is produced through renewable route, the green hydrogen as you call it. Our new R&D center, a dedicated renewable energy center, energy research center, is best in its class in Asia. Safe drinking water, sanitation and hygiene are crucial to human health and well-being. It is not only a prerequisite to health, but contributes to livelihood and dignity, which helps to create resilient communities living in healthy environment. Haldia Refinery always tries to contribute for developing various facilities for drinking water and sanitation to keep high level of hygiene for nearby villages and schools, colleges, and institutes at Haldia. Haldia Refinery has undertaken many important steps for reduction of air pollution. Haldia Refinery is presently producing BS6 grade gasoline and diesel products having sulfur less than 10 ppm. We are using low sulfur, IFO, and desulfurized fuel gas in process heaters as well as boilers, and to maintain pollution level as per CPCB notification on national ambient air quality standards. Further, our LNG line, which is being set up by Messrs. Gale from Dhamra to Haldia, will replace the refinery IFO by 2023, which being cleaner fuel will greatly reduce sulfur and NOx emission. Indian Oil regards ecological and environmental protection as a focal point of our environmental conservation programs. To give back to the nature, recently Haldia Refinery has taken a massive tree plantation drive of over 1 lakh trees in around the vicinity of Haldia. Haldia Refinery entered into a MOU with Department of Forest, Government of West Bengal, and Haldia Development Authority for development of 28 acres of land around HDA around Haldia. As per MOU terms, Department of Forest shall undertake tree plantation of selective variety following both conventional and Miyawaki concept for their massive tree plantation, and therefore maintenance of the plant and for 5 years after the plantation. This approach is supposed to ensure the plant growth is 10 times faster and resulting plantation in more dense forest-like environment. We have several plans on waste to energy, improving sewage management system at Haldia. We are ready to partner with any willing bodies or corporates. In the spirit of Atmanirbhar Bharat, the recent breakthroughs towards development of COVID-19 vaccines offers a ray of hope. But let's not forget, COVID-19 is not over yet. So we should not let our guard off. We still have to practice a degree of caution that is emphasizing on the ongoing need of physical distancing, sanitation, and wearing of the mask till everyone is vaccinated. With this, I wish a bright future for Haldia industry fraternity. Thank you very much. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Mr. Ghosh, for giving us a complete, comprehensive picture how a socially conscious and a large industry like IOCL played a pivotal role in the period of COVID pandemic. A few examples like what you have said about SMS, a very good thing. I must communicate this to other part wherever possible. Sanitizer, mask, and social distancing. You have given example how really such a vital social service and the utility could be maintained, front-ending with leadership team and some of the part in the work from home facility. Adaptability, teamwork, and the service to the society were the key words. You have not only restricted within your own industry, examples like WHO compliant sanitizer, which you have provided for the society at large, having more and more CSR activities, providing support, and also looking simultaneously to the business continuity and the sustainability. Examples like e-mobility, examples like, the other Satak scheme you have mentioned about, clean fuel technology. So these are some of the examples how really an industry can fight within such an uncertainty as well as serve the society. Thank you, Mr. Ghosh. We have learned many things from your deliberation. Of course, leading industries like what IOCL has demonstrated, we need to know from the other industry also. So we have with us Mr. Ashok Kumar Ghosh, Executive Vice President and Head Plant, Haldia Petrochemicals Limited. I would request Mr. Ghosh to deliver his theme address, how really being a vanguard of industry, and industry can think about the sustainability, serving to the society and the region. We would like to listen from Mr. Ghosh. Mr. Ghosh, please. Yes, Mr. Ghosh, please.
Good morning to all of you. I am audible now? I am audible?
Yes, sir, you are.
Okay. As you know that it was rightly mentioned that a few years back, Haldia was with respect to environment condition, it was not in a good position. Last few years, a lot of development has happened. People at industries were more focused to bring in ecological sustainability in the Haldia industrial region. First of all, I convey my sincere thanks to all the industry here. There is a significant improvement in the awareness among the industry here. And industries are more focused and taking quite a few actions at Haldia region. So that the good thing has happened here. One thing I'd like to mention, we are operating at Haldia, a very large petrochemical complex, which is a highly energy intensive industry. We consume very large energy is consumed to produce the end product. Because of that, not only we are having power plant, we are having a large number of furnaces, etc., in this complex with a very complex type of technology. The focus is always there here that we adopt the latest technological things available so that we can control the emission. So we have here gone through all these measures. Last, I would say after 2015, quite a few changes we have brought in here in this industry, which has significantly has reduced the energy consumption and helping the in maintaining the ecological sustainability. We are now covered under PAT4 cycle of Government of India, where the target has been given to HPL in the base year of 2018. Among the all petrochemical industry in India, it was Engineers India Limited has established the base energy consumption of all these petrochemical complexes. And HPL was recognized as the lowest energy consuming plant in the same category. And over that, they have given us a target that HPL has to go down their energy consumption per unit of the product which we are manufacturing here by 6%. So I'm very happy to say that we have already achieved that. Though we have to achieve in 2021. That's a target date to bring down energy consumption by 6%. So we have already achieved that 6% energy consumption through various measures we have taken here. So we are continuously focused on this area to bring down energy consumption in the complex, and that effort will continue in coming years also. We have here last year we commissioned a project here because we are also manufacturing. We are capable of manufacturing MS Euro 6 and all the intermediates here. There we have completed that project, and I'm happy to say that through that project we could bring down the sulfur content in our pyrolysis gasoline, which is one of the constituent which controls the sulfur in MS. That has come down, though the specification is 10 in Euro 6, BS6. We are manufacturing in the range of 1.5 ppm, in that range. I'd say less than 2 ppm. So that's the significant improvement in that area. In the green belt, we are maintaining one of the largest green belt in Haldia, and every year we are doing the plantation of a large number of trees in our green belt, and also in nearby community. We are having a township at Haldia where there is also a large number of trees. Every year we are going ahead with the plantation. We have taken up a project that's unique in nature in this Haldia region. We are building a 1 megawatt solar power plant which will cater the power requirement of our entire township. So we are that project in advanced stage of completion. Also I like to mention that we are the energy cost in Haldia is very high because we are producing power and steam by burning naphtha. The cost of that is very high. So we are going ahead with a coal-based power project here. That project is also in the advanced stage of completion, where all regulatory norms will be complied with, and we are incorporating all latest technology. And also we are the coal which will bring from port to the plant the first time at Haldia to avoid the transportation through truck. We are putting up a covered coal conveyor. That's a unique in nature at Haldia. This is the first time we are building that project. The job is going in full swing, and I'm planning to complete that project in the month of July, August this year. That will also help in reducing the environmental, also it will help in ecological sustainability, because the transportation through trucks will not be there. We'll bring the coal to by pipe conveyor. So we are highly concerned about the ecological sustainability, and in coming years, whatever new things is required or the efforts is required. So as a sensible organization, will continue to do that. That's the commitment from our chairman, and we are highly focused in this area. And I'm not talking too much about the CSR activities. We are highly focused in that, and whatever possible, we are continuously doing that. Nearby villages, we are supplying drinking water. All these things are going on. So that's the from my side. Very high focus will remain to bring down energy consumption. Whatever latest technology is possible, we'll try to adopt here. And I like to mention that Haldia Petrochemical has very recently acquired Lamas technology. This new acquisition has given us a immense opportunity to or access to the new technology. So we'll try to bring new technology here. So we are very closely working with Lamas. They are having all the advanced technology in the area of petrochemical industry, refinery, gasification. So we are closely working with that with Lamas because HPL has fully acquired that technology company, which is a leading company in the world. So we will try to bring all latest technology in the country because that access is now after this acquisition. This has given a immense opportunity for this technological access. So with this, I'm ending my opening speech. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ghosh. You have rightly said about managing, I would say, this vulnerability, in a sense that very sensitive product you are handling. And we all are really happy to note that in spite of HPL being one of the best energy consuming plant, so far the energy efficiency is concerned, but yet you have taken a very ambitious and challenging target of reducing it by further 6%. And we got assurance from your speech that HPL is definitely going to achieve that. These are some of the some of the examples which all other industries should follow, in a sense that probably will speak for not only in the theoretical plane, the question of sustainability, but how really it is we are making it happen in the ground. You also told about the sulfur content reduction, which is extremely essential, achieving the ecological sustainability. And not only the innovation within the plant, you are also very, adapting the acquisition, also the technology, spoken about the Lamas technology. And with your innovation, with the acquisition, you have given a commitment from the organization as a whole that HPL will definitely be a front runner on the question of sustainability, as it is, and it will be in future also. Thank you, Mr. Ghosh. Now, I would request, because we have heard about the industries, but actually the organization who are responsible to the society and the government and the country as a whole, the pollution control boards. So we have today Dr. Prosun Mondol, Assistant Environment Engineer in charge of Haldia Regional Office of West Bengal Pollution Control Board. I would request Dr. Mondol to speak.
Hello. Hello, am I audible, sir? Hello.
Yes, you are audible. You are audible.
Very good morning. Welcome to all participants on behalf of Pollution Control Board. Myself, Prosun Kumar Mondol, in charge, Haldia Regional Office, West Bengal Pollution Control Board. This is an opportunity that BCCI has given me to present about the health condition of Haldia and other two districts, as well as the water quality. My lecture will cover introduction, ambient air quality and different ambient air quality monitoring stations in and around Haldia during January 2021 and 2020. Wastewater quality at different points of Greenbelt Canal Haldia, through which major industries discharge their treated wastewater for the period of December 2020 and January 2020. Wastewater quality of different river within the three districts for the period of January 2021 and January 20. And finally, remarks. About ambient air, the ambient air is polluted due to automobile sector, road dust, industrial activity, and other man-made activities. West Bengal Pollution Control Board monitors through their manual ambient air quality monitoring stations, which are located at different points of three districts, Purbo Mendapur, Paschim Mendapur, and Jhargram. Locations are chosen of these ambient air quality monitoring stations which are nearer to industrial area or residential area, as well as three districts headquarters, to judge pollutant level due to these man-made activities. These ambient air quality monitoring stations monitors particulate matter 10, PM 2.5, sulfur dioxide concentration, and nitrogen dioxide concentration. In Haldia municipality, Pollution Control Board also regularly monitors different samples, wastewater samples at different points throughout the entire stretch of Greenbelt Canal, through which industrial wastewater discharges to Hooghly and Haldi River, which is adjoining. Wastewater samples also monitored regularly by this state environmental regulatory agency for different rivers of the three districts. During the period of January 2021, the data are available from homepage from West Bengal Pollution Control Board database. I have highlighted the major manual monitoring stations like Bhawanipur, Bhuiya Raichok, Supermarket, which WBIIDC, which are Haldia, and also district headquarter of Purbo Mendapur Tomluk, district headquarter of Paschim Mendapur, Mendapur town, Kharagpur industrial state, and Jhargam district headquarter. Through the manual ambient air quality monitoring stations, the major pollutants which represent the air quality index, like for supermarket, for date January 30, 21, PM 2.5 was major pollutant which is representative of air quality index, whose level was 78 microgram per meter cube. Also, in this table, it is shown that air quality index are within the range of above 100 to below 200, which are in moderate range as per CPCB. It is also shown that PM10 as well as PM 2.5 exceeds National Ambient Air Quality Standard of India 2009, which are values of 24-hour average. This type of air quality index can lead to breathing discomfort to the people who are suffering for lungs problem, heart disease, and as well as children and adults. This January 2021 is the time where industries has revived after a long shutdown of their production during COVID-19 period. Before COVID-19, this is January 2020, the air quality index was also in the range of moderate, like January 27, 2020, at manual monitoring station WB IIDC, PM10 was major pollutant which represent air quality index, whose corresponding air quality index is 129. Pollution Control Board regularly monitors samples throughout the entire stretch of Greenbelt Canal. Here, major water intensive industries discharge their wastewater after their effluent treatment plant. I have highlighted 4 sampling points which are near oil jetty, between catch pit number 5 and 6 of IOCL, near railgate in front of the bridge, and in front of CFCL previous factory main gate. It shows that during data was taken for date December 8, 2020, it shows that the pH level, TSS level, BOD level, COD level, as well as oil and grease level were within permissible limit. This period, December 8, 2020, was after long shutdown of factories and their revival through their normal production, 100% production. Before COVID-19, like the date January 6, 2020, the condition of Greenbelt Canal at the same points are highlighted. It shows that in some areas like like between catch pit number 5 and 6 of IOCL, here TSS level was 236 milligram per liter, and also near rail gate TSS level was 516, and also in front of CFCL main gate TSS level was 112 milligram per liter. And also there is BOD level does not attain permissible discharge standard, which deviates at the point near rail gate in front of the bridge, which was 130 milligram per liter. Also, its corresponding COD level exceeds the permissible discharge standard, which was 240.41 milligram per liter. Also, this is actually marginal failure. This is actually marginal. Actually, COD level is 250 milligram per liter. This is not failure. This is actually marginal level of COD. And also, oil and grease level are within permissible standard. Here in this slide, it is highlighted about January 2021, the discharge point of different rivers, their pollutant standards, like the discharge point near Ganga at Patikhali, pH level, TSS level, BOD level, COD level, also dissolved oxygen levels are shown. Also at downstream of Rupnarayan at Kolaghat, near Kolaghat rail gate, the pH level was 7.6, TSS level was 102, and also BOD, COD levels are within permissible limit. And for Paschim Mednapur, downstream of Kasi river near Hanuman Mandir, the pH was 7.58, TSS level was 4 milligram per liter, BOD level, COD level, and dissolved oxygen levels are shown. TSS level, BOD level, and COD level are very much below permissible standard. This scenario is after revival of industries after their long shutdown. Before COVID-19, like the date January 2020, the wastewater, the polluting parameters of wastewater are highlighted, like the points at Ganga at Patikhali, Rupnarayan at Kolaghat downstream, Kasi river near Hanuman Mandir downstream, at in Paschim Mednapur. The two tables, it is shown that the water quality of these river streams are actually comparable. They have similarity. It is shown that industries have resumed to revive themselves after long stoppage of production in the COVID-19 period to meet industries specific emission standard as per Central Pollution Control Board. Industries are trying their best to run air pollution control devices. The industries which are air polluting, they are trying to regularly run their air pollution control device to Pollution Control Board is working in cooperation with all of the industries in order to maintain health quality of ambient air as well as wastewater discharge standard of water bodies. Pollution Control Board works with good assistance of large industries which are around Haldia as well as other two districts, Paschim Medinapur and Jhargram. During the years 2020 and 2021, wastewater qualities as well as ambient air qualities at different monitoring stations are comparable. This is possible through the assistance of industries. Pollution Control Board is West Bengal Pollution Control Board is a state environmental regulatory agency which acts for implementation of environmental regulations with the assistance of industries. Also, in this platform, I thanks Bengal Chamber of Commerce to judge and assess ambient air quality as well as wastewater quality, health of ambient air, as well as the industries which are adopting new technologies to provide less pollution in the air as well as in the water. Also, industries will highlight the social helps that they have provided during the past COVID period. Thank you to all of you.
Thank you, Dr. Mondal, for making us aware of, with the data, of course, which is being monitored on the regular basis, on where we are with respect to air quality, water quality, which are very, very important and pertinent. Similarly, I would now request Mr. Bipul Chatterjee, Executive Director, Consumer Unity and Trust Society, CUTS, to highlight the indoor and outdoor air quality for better productivity. This session will be enriched by an observation by Professor Papita Das, Department of Chemical Engineering, Jadavpur University, and Joint Director, School of Advanced Studies on Industrial Pollution Area. So I would request Mr. Chatterjee, please.
Thank you, Mr. Ray. Good morning, everybody. Let me begin with my thanking Bengal Chamber for organizing this session. Not only that, this issue is important from various angles. Productivity is definitely one of them. But also, I think it's going to become more and more important as we go forward. When we talk about industrial development in any place of the world, today we are talking about the Haldia Industrial Hub. Now, given the paucity of time, I'm going to make 3 or 4 very quick points and would like Bengal Chamber to take them forward as far as possible in consultation with the members, other experts. But before that, just a couple of points. After hearing all of you, I mean, there are 2 major things which have emerged. First is that there are a number of initiatives which have been taken by various industries, industry bodies, which is a good news. But the not so good news is the fact that, which I just heard now, just before me, the previous speaker, that the air quality is not that good. And there could be several reasons for that. And of course, the engineers and other technical guys, they can talk much better about this subject. I'm going to make 3 points here. First, right to healthy environment is a consumer right. It is enshrined in the United Nations guidelines for consumer protection. So that is something which we need to make note of. And that is where, and since India is also a member of that body and is a signatory of that UN guidelines, it is the responsibility not just of the state, but other stakeholders as well, to provide a healthy environment to all of us. That's the context which I would like to highlight. My second point is, after hearing particularly the industry representatives here, that we tend to look at sustainable development from the point of view of ecological sustainability, which is necessary but not sufficient. And this is what this is more or less the thinking of the Western environmentalist, where they tend to equate sustainable development with ecological sustainability only. My point is that sustainable development, if we look at the definition even from the Stockholm Conference of 1972, that it's a balance between economy, equity, and environment. And we cannot ignore one for the sake of the other. And in a country like India, where employment generation, livelihood generation is still very, very challenging, because we decided to remain poor by design, not by default, we have to keep this balance in mind when we talk about ecological sustainability. And my third and final point is that in India in particular, I'm not talking just about the Haldia industrial zone, we are very good at devising policies. We are quite good in having laws in place. We're not very good in having regulations because we tend to over-regulate everything. So why not? I mean, to now we are a discourse has started that for so many years we have been over-regulating. So this is now the time to go for less number of regulations and better regulations. Why can't we go for self-regulations then, self-certification, for the benefit of our industries and for the benefit of our society? So my point is that it's not just for the government to implement these laws or policies. Of course, they have the responsibility. It's also the industry and the society at large. We also have the responsibility to see to it that they are implemented properly. So I'm all for optimal number of regulations, neither over-regulation nor under-regulation. The essential point is that, as I said before, it's not just the government. It's not just the government's job to do it. Private sector as well as the society has to come forward to make our right to healthy environment a better reality. I'm not talking about any utopia. I know that that's not possible, but to make progress for that. So essentially, Samaj, Sarkar, and Bazaar, these three have to work together, and that is somehow is not happening. And I will end by urging Bengal Chamber that worldwide there are studies to show that how studies done by WHO, World Health Organization, done by OECD, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, which shows that how air quality has impacted the productivity of workers. And there is an estimate which shows that there is by 2050, at least there is going to be at least $10 billion worth of welfare loss as a result of bad air quality in particular. And who is suffering? Is the consumers and it's also our workers. They are the worst sufferers. So I would urge Bengal Chamber to collaborate with technical bodies to do a study on how air quality is impacting the productivity, industrial productivity, particularly in Haldia industrial zone. I don't know whether such a study is already done or not. I haven't come across anything like that, but I think that's its time has come. So with that, let me once again thank Bengal Chamber for inviting me to speak, and thank you very much for putting some thoughts on the table. Thank you. Over to you, Mr. Ray.
Thank you, Mr. Chatterjee. In short, but you have made very, very pertinent points. I understand that you have spoken about providing healthy environment. It's not an option. It is an entitlement for the citizen of the country. It's a right. And the instrument and the society has to provide it. Governance also has to run like this. Second is rightly said, only ecological sustainability is not the right way to think unless we bring economy and equity into the framework. How really ultimately what is the ultimately the last purpose? The purpose is to serve the humanity's purpose is to really make the people sustainable. So economy and equity cannot be left out of the ambit, and only ecological sustainability can be talked about. Third is policy and law. Yes, we are good at. Regulations, you have raised a debatable issue. While, yes, there is a view of over-regulation, there is a view on under-regulation also. So, I mean, of course, very pertinent point you have raised. And on the practical field, you have suggested, you have selected one area, air quality monitoring, and how Bengal Chamber can play a pivotal role or facilitate the process to have a better air quality for the region where we are speaking of. We have with us Dr. Papita Das. I am just, before we conclude, would you like to share one or two things, one or two points?
Sure, sir. I'm audible?
Yes, yes, you are audible.
Yeah. I'm also thankful to Dr. Chatterjee that whatever he had told that how we can improve our air quality and if we can contact with other industry as well as this is our duty also to so that the pollutions whatever we have seen till now and from pollutions control board website also we can see the AQI quality of different areas of West Bengal. So if we can, this is our duty to get rid of this pollution. Not only, not this is not duty of only for the government also. This is duty of ours as well as for industrial persons also to look after this matter so that we can get rid of this pollutions. At least we can minimize the pollutions. So thank you. Mr. Roy also, and thank you BCCI also for inviting me to be an observer in this program. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Das. Before I would request Mr. Arun Kumar Mukherjee, our mentor for the Energy and Environment Committee of Bengal Chamber of Commerce and Director Technical Trade Engineering and Consulting, I will just say 2 or 3 words. We have listened, in fact, very carefully, and I would say all the speakers have made very, very pertinent and relevant points. We cannot have a discussion in today worldwide without mention of COVID. COVID not as a disease I am speaking of. I am speaking of the experience of COVID. In fact, if we see how India has progressed, if doubling rate is one of the index to see that how it is effective. In June 20, when it was hovering around 20 days, now it is 518 days. Recovery rate from 54.1%, it is now 96.7%. Fatality rate from 3.3%, it is now only 1.4%. So India is now under scanner observation that what exactly has happened to the country, how it has really fought the COVID pandemic. I am not saying to be, becoming complacent. I am not saying that the pandemic is over. we have to be cautious, rightly mentioned by some of the speakers. We have to go a long way before we can say that we have overcome from that crisis. But India has adopted a strategy, the strategy called bubble strategy, actually. We have seen how the lockdown has been imposed and the strict lockdown has been imposed at one point of time. And when the unlocking process have started gradually picking up, I mean the whole industrial activity, social activity, and it has become phase by phase, and with achieving the milestones, it has really, I mean, we have recovered. Almost we are in the same phase where we were pre-COVID situation. And this managing two opposites. One is necessity of imposition of the restrictions and the lockdown, etc., in the form of lockdown or like this, and also necessity to revive the economic activity, because it is a debate between life and the livelihood, and how India has managing these two contradictory, two opposites. And if we can really manage well the two opposites, then we will get the desired result. And that is the strategy we have adopted. In fact, so far the petroleum consumption is concerned, energy consumption is concerned, industrial production is concerned, we are almost in the same level as we were in the pre-COVID situation, which went down to the level of 50%, and we have recovered it. Now, under this background, we are organizing this event. And definitely there is a need and necessity to see that how tomorrow something like this, if it happens, how really we will manage it, how we will become sustainable, because sustainability is something which we have to ensure not only for our own industry, not only for the region, but not only for even the country. The world as a whole is speaking today on the sustainability, and these COP discussions are nothing but how really we can become collaborative. Collaborative is a word I would like to emphasize, that this is something which we have learned in the last 1 year. Because disease, rightly said by one of the speakers, that disease really didn't spare looking into the richness of the poor people. So it is something we have to think about. In Holdia Energy Limited, which is one of our group company, we are extremely concerned about the sustainability. And a few examples, like we have 100% ash utilization. Our very efficient ESP, which speaks of the SPM level below the non-natives. In fact, while the non-native speaks for 50, we are operating at the level of 30. We have other measures like medicinal plant garden, butterfly garden, then waste composter, solar, rooftop solar. In fact, we have more than almost close to 1.5 lakhs green belt, the plantation. And biodiversity has also given an importance. This is, I'm not speaking that what we have done. The issue is that probably the time has come when we have to think beyond what is statutory or normative requirement. And if we together can do it as a region, as industry group, or as Chamber of Commerce, we will definitely succeed and reach to the level where it should be. With this, I would now request Mr. Arun Kumar Mukherjee, our respected Mr. Mukherjee, to convey, give his vote of thanks.
Thank you, Gautam. Good morning, everybody. It is our great pleasure to present this discussion forum addressing sustainability in the Holdia industrial region. We would like to thank each and every one of our stakeholders from business, government, and media for extending their support, cooperation, and involvement. We would like to thank our speakers, Mr. Partho Ghosh, Mr. Ashok Kumar Ghosh, Dr. Prasun Mondol, Mr. Bipul Chatterjee, Professor Papita Das, for their very engaging and enlightening presentation. We would also like to extend our thanks to the subsequent speakers in the next session, without whose insights the program would be incomplete. Our special thanks to the professors from Jadavpur University and IIT Kharagpur for their guidance and help to prepare the report, which would be shared with all stakeholders to refer to as an outcome of this forum. We are happy to have speakers from Jaipur and Texas, USA, to join us in this forum. Our special thanks to our sponsors and partners, West Bengal Pollution Control Board, Exide Industries Limited, Indorama India Private Limited, Haldia Energy Limited, Indian Oil Corporation, Haldia Petrochemical Limited, HWS Haldia Water, and Sunanda Environmental International Private Limited, without whose support we could not have mounted this program. Last but not the least, we would also like to thank the media, as we believe that with their reach, we would be able to connect far and wide, carrying our message. Thank you.